Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, you got it.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
It's a good choice.
I had to get it. Guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the AfterBuzz TV After Show here for Graceland. This is Season 2, Episode 7, entitled Bon Voyage, which I'm sure we'll be saying that at the end of this episode. If you haven't already, please go to iTunes, rate us, comment, give us 5 stars. We'll give shout-outs for the comments later on the air, as well as go to YouTube and go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV and subscribe. Guys, I'm your host, Stephen Lemieux. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, as well as joining me today, and yes, I am back, and I got a haircut. I know I said I'd get that when Mariam Scenario was on, but I finally got it. I am joined today by Stephanie Giorgi.
Hello, everyone.
And there's obviously nobody else here except for our special guest, Tom Schanley.
Hello, everybody.
Who has taken time out of his schedule to join us on the Graceland After Show to talk about Cash Wingate.
What a name, Cash Wingate.
I know, it kind of sounds like you're going to pull a gun and shoot somebody.
I'm telling you, it's the best name I've ever had.
It's honestly an amazing name, and it's so funny because I forget. I was like, oh, hi, nice to meet you, Tom. And then you started talking, and then we watched the show, and I was like, damn, that is a great accent.
Yeah.
You honestly, it's a name that belongs to a Clint Eastwood character, I feel like.
If this guy was a good guy, I would smell spinoff.
Yeah.
Forget about me, just the name.
There you go.
Turn the name off.
It's like Max Powers. It's the name you want to touch, but you mustn't touch it.
Yeah.
Simpsons reference
Cash
within 3
Wingate.
minutes.
Hey, Chuck Norris.
There you go.
You know?
You're going to roundhouse kick that baby right out of Charlie.
Oh, no.
And that was a really sad way of saying that.
No, I got my people for that.
Okay. You get your ibogaine.
My Ibogaine.
You know, while you
he's
go
got
hunt
Rodney.
crocodiles and you have some ibogaine. Guys, we are talking about Episode 7. This was a phenomenal episode. And I gotta tell you, as much as it pained me to not be here last week, I was at my cousin's wedding, unfortunately. Tiana Hobson, thanks again. Shout out to you for taking
Joining
over.
me, yes.
Seems like everyone really liked Tiana.
Because it was such a good episode. We had a good time. The girls just talking it up about the show we love.
I felt so privileged to get to watch last week's episode freshly and then watch this week's episode right
Following
after
it,
that. It gave me a newfound hope for this show that they'll get the number of seasons that they want, because if that's the feeling you get watching episodes back to back, I can't even imagine the response Netflix had when they brought this show on for the
Binge
first
watchers,
season and
absolutely.
second season. So this is going to be a great third season again on Netflix for people to binge watch, and I'm really excited. So it also gives me hope that if it doesn't get picked up again for USA, that they'll put it on Netflix and they'll pick it up.
Nice.
But
That would be good.
it's looking pretty damn good for a season 4 at this point. All right, so Bon Voyage, we got 3 major storylines this episode. We have the Charlie storyline, we have the Armenian storyline, and we have the Mike being a total freaking dick storyline. So which one would you guys like to take over first?
I want to start with the Armenian storyline.
Ding, ding, ding. All right, let's
There you
go
go.
ahead and start with the Armenian storyline. Rolling down my notes, because that's my trademark phrase for this. First of all, what did you think of this episode, Tom?
I really liked it. I thought that one of the things I like about this show is this is why it'll be a good binge watching show, I think, is they managed to actually navigate 3 storylines, and they actually do it pretty cleverly. And I like this one because a lot of things, a lot of apexes in this storyline, a lot of stuff going on that, it was great.
I feel like a lot of the episodes this season have had those. And as unfortunate it is that we had to wrap up Eric Valdez and Jamie Gray Hyder, it did give that storyline, it has been fast moving, has been dragging along, and if we still had that storyline, we wouldn't have been able to progress this far.
Absolutely.
With where we are now. I like how you've been mentioning Game of Thrones throughout the night watching this show.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
They do a great job bouncing around from story to story, and you never know if a character is going to die. We had that scare tonight with Charlie. So let's go ahead and jump.
With everyone, I felt like I was afraid that Johnny was going to die tonight. I was afraid that Briggs was going to die, and I was afraid that Charlie was going to. 3 of them.
I mean, even Mike's getting his close calls
Exactly.
now, too.
Ugh.
I mean, smoking some oxy from a pipe. I didn't know you could smoke oxy.
I didn't. This is the exact conversation we had last week. I didn't know either, but really, I guess you could smoke everything, right? I mean,
If it lights up,
If it
you
lights
could
up.
probably try to smoke it.
You know what? We'll do
wouldn't
some
know.
tests later.
yeah,
you
so
know
we'll
what?
let you guys know about it.
We'll let you know.
AFTERBUZZ.
Yes.
After buzz, actually getting
Focusing on the buzz.
It's the current buzz. You get the buzz,
Right.
and then we'll do an after buzz after the buzz. All right. So the Armenian storyline opens up with Paige trying to get Briggs to back out of what he's doing because she was actually the only one to volunteer because she felt bad because she burned the wrong fingers on Ari, which completely ruined their case 2 episodes ago. Briggs says he needs Jake and Johnny, and Paige says, all right, well, I'll get him in. You'll tell him it's my call, and they'll follow suit because they obey women, I guess, you know, because they hate Briggs, they don't hate Paige. So enter Johnny and Jake's. Johnny would be the buyer, Jake's would run the covert ops, and we'd set up this big scheme for them to buy RPGs. They're going to introduce the Sarkissians to a buyer who wants to buy RPGs, and then they would set them up for as soon as the money changed hands, they'd be able to set up all 3 heads of the family at the same time. Get Ari behind bars, get Tivon behind bars, and get Toros Burdenian behind bars, like Burbasari.
Right, which would leave Martoon with no one, so he couldn't really progress the way he wanted to. And that would
Exactly.
give him more time on their case if they wanted to take him down.
Yeah, so Jakes and Johnny are like, man, you got some balls. No, we're not going to do it. And Paige is like, hey, I'm Paige. You're going to get to give me a hickey later, so you should go ahead and do this.
That was so funny. You know, that's what I have to say about this season specifically. I think what's making it so good is all of the comic relief that we have, even in these intense situations, because it makes it nice. Like what I said, comic relief, just for that little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were cracking me up. That hickey scene was hilarious.
Oh, you could tell they were cracking up the entire
He's
time
like,
they were
this is so
filming.
weird to watch when he was staring at it. He's like, what are you doing?
Well, it's just like, I know we're jumping the gun going into that scene so quickly,
Yeah,
but like, actors have to do a lot. And I mean, a sex scene is one thing because it's just basically humping and being on camera, and that's a lot of pressure. But this is literally you're going up
Just
to
a straight
another
up
actor
hickey.
and sucking on their neck.
You got to do it. Take one for the team sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, Brando J. Taking one for the
Right?
team.
I'll do it.
Well done.
I'll do it if it's for the case.
Yeah, I would have watched Charlie do that. Anyway, so back to the Armenian storyline. They turn on the TV and they use ISIS suicide bombings to guilt them into doing it, saying basically these are the kind of guys who provide the weapons to these kind of guys. And at least we can't take down ISIS, but we can take down the people who are supplying the arms to people like them.
Right.
At least in Miami. So Paige says the point is to make arrests and stop Briggs from getting killed, and that's what kind of is like, all right, fine, let's knock this out. So Briggs decides, all right, so I'm going to introduce this buyer to Ari. I'm going to go over to this bar. I'm going to meet with Ari, and we get this really weird scene with Ari where he's carving a horse that looks like a pig, and he's like, my dad is a great man who does these things, and Briggs is like, looks like a pig,
Right.
and this is where you notice that things are not going well when Ari says, man, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want it to go like this. And immediately you're like, all right, crap. They're setting Briggs up.
Yeah.
They grab Briggs. Toros comes from the back, just sugs him in the stomach. Great acting on Daniel Sanjada's part, because that really, you really felt it.
Yeah.
Toros is really uppity about Briggs because Briggs acts high and mighty because that's just who Briggs is. And says he's not...
Toros clearly has a little man syndrome. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that family, you have to. It's interesting because you look at Toros and you look at Ari, and if you put them two together, who do you get? Carlito.
Oh.
Like, I mean, they're literally like, if you take some aspects of Carlito, split it off, you got Toros. You take the other aspects of it, you get freaking Briggs.
Ari.
I mean, you get Ari, and then put them together, you get Carlito, but Carlito's now in jail. So, Ari is looking at Toros, puts a napkin on Briggs's neck, and just has this little carving knife. Like, what a crappy way to go.
That would have taken like 35 minutes with that tiny little knife. It'd take a long time.
Now you do nice.
Well, experience apparently.
Right
Well,
when
she
I did
is,
it, I was like, oh no, they're gonna know my secret. Okay,
Wow.
I'm a hitman. All right.
Hit person.
Hit person.
You're gonna have to start getting tattoos on your face there now.
I'm gonna get a 619 on my face.
Well, you know, it's really interesting dramatic irony here when you're listening to the scene, because when you look back at it, he's carving a pig, Briggs is technically a cop, and Ari's carving, and it says it looks like a pig, and he's carving it up. So what I'm thinking in my mind is, holy crap, do they know he's a cop, and he's going to carve him up? Like, do they know he's a cop?
Ooh, like if that's what they were hinting, which is what goes to what I was saying about... Well, I guess I'd be jumping ahead again, but this is the reason why I even thought there was an anonymous call. I feel like they have a feeling that they...
Yeah, they're trying to figure out if he's a cop. Because he's just so... He doesn't really fit with it. Yeah. He's on top of it. He's always like in these situations. So I thought that might have been what they were setting him up for. And if they know he's a cop now at the end of the episode, it's weird. But that was just kind of carving a pig up with a knife.
I didn't pick that up, so
I didn't pick up the pig part, but I like that they kind of put that in there.
Somebody, Dick Shimodi says, yep, weird as hell. And Nicholas Melendez says, am I the only person that Johnny looked really stupid with his undercover?
He did a little bit, but it's okay.
Well, guys, we're talking about the Armenian storyline. If you want to jump in the chat, I'm going to give a shout out real quick to... Thanks to Jory Dia Marish, who says, ask about favorite parts of shooting Graceland, to Tom Schanley. And Mackenzie says, he's back! And Karen K says, after that awesome Graceland TV episode, I'm ready for AfterBuzz TV Graceland. Thanks, guys. Join us in the live chat. Keep joining us. So back to this. Briggs really is good at talking himself out of these situations.
I think that's another reason why they're getting suspicious, because anyone who's involved with this association or, organization, I feel like wouldn't try so hard to be in there. Like, all Briggs is doing is trying to stay involved when they've given him the out.
No, what's
without
weird,
being killed.
What's weird to me, and the only thing I could possibly see as what they're kind of worried about, is Briggs is a lackey. Briggs does not act like a lackey
because he's too
smart. So if I was Toros in this position, when he keeps saying like, why are you talking to me on equal footing, like, why are you doing this? I would be thinking, all right, this guy knows the deal. Obviously he's treating me like I'm an underling. Why the hell is he working for Ari?
Right.
Like, why the hell is this guy who feels so superior to me, who's Ari's boss, why is he under Ari? Where does his loyalty for Ari come from? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So something's off, if you really think about it. So that's why I think they can play to that with Toros kind of being suspicious of Briggs. So... I don't know what's going to happen, but moving on, they get to the hangar. Briggs introduces the gang-tatted Johnny, and it's like, who are you? The boss. Johnny's got a really thick, like, the boss.
Well, he was trying to sound Chicano, or he sounded Chicano. Oh, that made me feel bad. I mean, he was that's what the goal was there. That's the accent you heard.
Yep.
La raza. What's up?
It was pretty. It was good. Toro says that Johnny's looking for the RPGs. I look stupid to you. Yeah, you look stupid with that crap on your face. Guns are drawn. Of course, everyone's balls are in a freaking knot right now. They're all trying to show their cojones. Briggs walks in, like, stop trying to show your nuts. Johnny says, we'll get 50 at 4.5 each, but if we get it by tomorrow, I'll give you $250K. And Toros has this great. He's like, yeah, I'll get you it.
I know that was
$250,000 tomorrow.
It was a very realistic interaction between the two.
Oh yeah,
very real. I feel like that's exactly what would have been said in like words of.
I know, if they're pissed at each other, like, yeah, you make fun of people's accents and things like that. And then Briggs just looks at him like, small time bitch.
Yeah. Well, because I thought it was funny when he was like, do you think I look stupid? He's like, yes, I do. With that shit on your face right now. That was funny because, yeah, exactly.
Who gets face tat? It looks so dumb.
Cholos, dude. East side cholos.
So there was like an article about some girl who dated a guy for 5 days and then got her whole face tattooed with his name, and I was like,
no.
Jeez.
That's a commitment right there.
That is.
Talk about quick love.
I'm going to get Stephanie Giorgi across my face.
Steffi G would be better.
Steffi G.
There you go.
I'll get it with the quickness. All right. So back at Graceland, Paige is picking out an outfit. She can't suddenly become a prude.
Yeah.
So we have the great idea of, why don't you just suddenly become a slut?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, he's right. I feel, yeah, right?
I mean, it is a way to turn a guy off from you. Because, like, if a guy... But even then... I mean, if I feel like a guy would still go for the one-night stand.
Well, she kind of left it, too, at the, in the thing with, hey, we can discuss. She even opened that door, which was interesting. She said, hey, if you want me, just we can discuss that. And I thought that was that leads him on a little more.
It does lead him on a little more.
She
I
didn't
think
play
the
the whole
same thing.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be hard and just be like, no, I don't have time for that. That I do what I want when I want to because I'm a grown-ass woman. I'm a boss. I thought she was going to play that part. But she did leave it open-ended. Yeah. And I feel like all that's going to make him do is have something else to conquer. Like, so for instance, let's say he does think she's a slut. Now he's gonna be like, well, not anymore, because I'm holding her down.
Yeah, it gives him a conquest.
Yeah.
Maybe she is attracted to him. I'm just saying.
A little bit. How did you feel about that kiss? She was, I don't know, she like smiled for a second and then, I don't know, it was weird. I thought she liked it for a second.
Be an interesting twist if she goes to the dark side a little bit.
No, that'd be crazy.
I don't know nothing. I'm just Cash Wingate. I don't know nothing.
Cash Wingate here, y'all.
Cash Wingate.
That's right.
With us in studio. I'm gonna go hunting Crocs. I think it would evolve her character and make me have more respect for the character if she did sleep with him.
Oh.
No.
Oh,
This sounds super misogynistic, but I don't even mean it that way.
Says Stephen Lemieux.
Okay. Let me look at it from this perspective. Everything she's been doing in season 2 and things like that leads me to believe that she is not putting the case first. She's very emotional, and she doesn't act like an undercover agent. I'm sorry, but there's FBI agents out there that sleep with criminals.
You think
to keep their cover. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the thing is she's had so many times where she's weaseled her way out of sleeping with somebody. You're an undercover agent. If you want to keep your cover, there's going to be a time as a woman that you're going to have to sleep with the guy. Like, for her to not sleep with him after all these exchanges will be so suspicious. And if they keep writing her out of it, it's just not believable. I don't believe that she's been a super undercover agent.
I guess. I feel like they just don't want to objectify her to something like that. But I understand what you're talking about. If it comes down to it, she does need to cover herself. However, since season 1, that's what she's used. That's her power.
Exactly.
If she was a superhero, it's been the fact that she's a vixen.
But that's the thing. If she's a vixen and she's been the vixen since season 1, that was her thing. That's her thing. She's been doing it for so long. They always use her.
It's one thing to act like one, it's another to be one.
Yeah, but it's one thing to be an agent that'll do whatever it takes to get in the cover, and it's another thing who's going to punch the guy in the nose, hypothetically breaking the cover, hypothetically breaking everything, because she doesn't want to sleep with the guy that she's supposed to sleep with to get in the cover with.
Yes.
I just think it's a little bit unrealistic that she can get out of these situations every single time.
Well, this
and
time
that she's not mentally prepared to sleep with somebody to get a cover when literally from season 1 that has been her cover.
I think she is mentally prepared. It's that they're trying to avoid it. That's it.
I don't think she's mentally prepared. I think if we get a scene where she sleeps with someone, she's just going to be the unstable the emotional page, and she'll feel like she was raped and things like that. I'm like, I don't want to go through that again with this character. Season 2, we've had enough of that. I want the strong female agent who will do whatever it takes, because that's what's most important. Because we got sarin gas out here. We got a guy who's selling RPGs out here. All right, take one for the team. Mike's taking one from the team, and you almost killed him for it.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. It might be dangerous ground on TV nowadays to have that happen, but
it's pretty ironic though too, because people are smoking. Let's smoke some oxy. Yeah, we'll take that for the team. That's okay to have people become drug addicts, but have a little sex and everybody gets very uptight about that.
And it's not like
it's kind of ridiculous.
I'll only go with it because it's not like Toros is like this dirty, grimy guy. He's like this rich,
he's suave.
I'm thinking
kind of
if the places were traded, you might not have broken his nose.
Right.
You might have gone through it. You might have gone through with it, right?
Yeah.
See? Maybe she should be Paige.
I know. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
Oh my god. But leading people on actually lets you have more control over them, so I get that aspect of it.
Again, and she turned around like smiling, haha, got him.
Plus, story-wise, if I may jump in, who knows? Maybe they've got some stuff down the line that is going to put her in the middle of that or make her go to that dark side.
Honestly, after this last kiss, I think she's going to hit it next episode.
Hit it, then quit it?
Hit it, then quit it.
Hit it, then quit it?
Hey.
You're stupid. That was good.
All right. So, they have the whole hickey scene. Again, I would love to see the outtakes from this. It had to have been a really awkward but fun day on set. Jake says he'll do it for the case.
Yeah.
I love Brandon J. McLaren in this scene. Johnny's just laughing.
And he's like, this is hella weird. So
Charlie walks in and she's like,
what is going on with Jake's just like standing and like they just smiling and this guy with his drink?
And it's so sad because Charlie goes from this scene where she's just like, man, maybe I'll adopt this scene when I'm lonely, and like very lighthearted to the end of the episode where it's just really just terrible. Charlie asks about Mike. He's not back yet. And the next time we get the Armenian stories is back at the airport, seeing all the RPGs, and Toros hides it from Paige so she doesn't see it. And Paige is like, look, if you go down...
Her hair's up, by the way, and she keeps looking to the left. I was
she keeps trying to, like, look, I have this right here, look. Paige says she's going down too because of the fingerprints. So like if he goes down, she goes down. She's trying to weasel in a little bit more. She just grabs him by the nuts, takes the bull by the horns, and she kisses him. And he sees the hickey. He's like, I didn't think you were a whore. And she's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Exactly.
You don't call me no whore. You didn't put a ring. You didn't put a ring on it.
Damn.
All the single ladies. You liked it, so you should have put a ring on it.
Listen, no, shut up. I hate. So Steven's so good at putting the corniest jokes in everything that happens for the show.
He didn't notice.
He didn't.
Talking about the comic relief you were liking, so
Don't worry, I'll probably get drugged and lose my baby soon because I'm comic relief right now.
Oh no! But
Too soon.
So this is my thing though about that scene is she said the second he was like, oh, so you're not a whore, she was like, I showed up at your house. She almost said that she was at that point. I showed up at your house at midnight to have sex. What do you think? I mean, she really was just saying that she wasn't.
Yeah, she's saying she's saying she's easy. I mean, she's
not easy, but that she's interested in that. Like that was the focus there.
Yeah. I don't know. In the chat, we have.
I'm still trying to defend her. I'm still trying to be a feminist. I think
Go
right
get
now.
Tracy Hickson in the chat says Paige should have broken Toros's dang.
I know.
And everyone's like, yeah, please. Mackenzie Traver says, dang, it's getting intense up in here. Nicholas Melita says, Steven, you're crazy with Paige sleeping with that guy. Yeah. Would have been funny as hell if Mike walked into the room during the hickey scene.
Yes, it would happen.
And Dick Shimodi says, Ari trusts Briggs more than Toros. So it's interesting. Let's go back to that scene really quick in the bar with Briggs and Toros
because he does stop for a second, right?
Toros is there, and for a second we actually kind of thought that Ari was going to take the knife and gut Toros.
Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of interesting. I honestly wonder, like through Ari's mind, because Nicholas or Dixie is right that I feel like Ari likes Briggs more than he likes Toros. So if they had gone further, would Ari have killed Toros instead of Briggs?
Maybe, but I think the reason why is because of what Toros said to Paige. Do you like a strong man? I think I'm about to be managing the entire Sarkissian, deal or whatever, where Ari thinks he's going to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Ari doesn't think that anymore. Ari wants that. Oh. But after,
I think it's just a position of authority here, or who wants,
After Miriam Sinay slept with Ari and, well, not Miriam Sinay, but the actress she plays. What is the name? I can't believe Layla Sarkissian, yeah. Okay, so back to where we were. To be continued. If you want me, you're going to have to work for it. Basically, if you want me all to yourself.
But this isn't over because he followed it with to be continued, meaning
she didn't get out of it.
She didn't get out of it. Point blank period. That's all we were trying to say.
I think this episode should have been called To Be Continued. Honestly, because where it leaves off, with everything that's going on, the cliffhanger with Charlie, with Briggs, everything, this episode could have aptly been named To Be Continued.
The season finale will hopefully be To Be Continued.
Well, yeah. Well, season 3. Okay, so they have Tavon, they have Ari, and they have the Toros all together. Muchos gracias is the signal to move once they exchange money for the RPGs. Everyone's there. They got the whole team. The whole place is scoped out. Everything's under surveillance. The van's coming in. Briggs is driving. They're like, where are they? And he's like, I'm driving alone. They were supposed to come separately. Supposed to already be here. Boxes have no weapons. They're just pipes. 3 SUVs. Everyone's like really on high alert because there's 3 black unmarked SUVs coming up. Bunch of guys with guns in it. It turns out it was LAPD. Somebody gave them an anonymous tip that a weapons deal was going on at this warehouse, and everyone's just kind of like trying to sort stuff out because it's like, holy crap, we got Johnny looking like a total gangbanger up in here, and Toros, we're thinking at this point trying to oust Briggs. We're also thinking, is Toros FBI? Like, what's going on?
Well, you had mentioned that had it been them setting them up, the only way that they could take them down is if they actually had something in the SUV. That's why I know that it was them just trying to see if they could get out of jail. Because wouldn't Briggs still be incarcerated right now? Had they caught him just for that situation? Because they don't know him better.
If they, the fact that they, let's just go to the final scene with that real quick, because that conversation opens it up. So Johnny's yelling with Jakes, and Jakes is blaming Johnny's bad acting on how the case went down. He's basically saying when he met with Toros could see through it, so that's why they set them up and all that. And Briggs is like, no, they didn't renege, they just were messing with them. They just didn't care.
I think so too, because at the end of the day, Johnny, the way he was playing that out, I feel like that's how Cholo would go down.
Yeah,
that's how it is. I mean, like, growing up, like the Mexican kids that I knew that were in gangs and stuff, like it was no mercy kind of a deal. And if anyone tried to come up on them, they would try to go even harder. Or what's that? End of Watch. Look at like all the movie Blood In, Blood Out. Think about every movie where there's a Cholo in. Whatever they perceive is that's exactly what he should have been doing there. He's not gonna let the little dude like come, especially if he's saying that he knows the boss. If he knows Tavon, then he's already in a position to not be scared of someone who's under him. So,
well, he doesn't know Tavon.
No, I know, but he knows of him, meaning he wants to work with the boss. So I don't see the Cholo culture backing down or acting any less aggressive than what he was.
Yeah, he did a fine job. Is basically what we're saying. Johnny is the one who brings up Paige. Says, "Look, what are we going to do about Paige? You got her into this, and he's going to want her to put out soon." And Briggs is like, "I got to think. I'm going to walk it off." And then Ari pulls up with Toros. They say, get in. Briggs gets in. That's the end of the episode. That's the end of the Armenian storyline for this episode.
This scares me, though, because in Goodfellas, that's how they killed a lot of people. They put him in the passenger seat, and the guy just sits in the back, pop.
Well, then Pulp Fiction, they randomly accidentally shoot a guy in the face.
Yeah.
Freaking...
the back seat. They were in the back seat, though.
Yeah, they're in the back seat. All right, so there are a few situations that could be going down right now. They could have, hypothetically, called the LAPD, thought that Johnny, as the Cholo he is, or whatever you said. Chicano. They would have overreacted, shot Briggs, and then the LAPD would have shot them, and there would have been a shootout, and they were just hoping that the problem would take care of itself. They might have been thinking that, or they might have just wanting to see what happens, or they might have been waiting and noticed that there weren't any gunfire, so they followed them, and then that means they've seen Briggs with Johnny and Jakes, and Johnny doesn't have the makeup on, so they know that something's up, and they were trying to set them up, and they've picked up Briggs.
Exactly.
So either they know about Briggs, or they don't at this point.
Well, it depends on where that walk took place, too. He walked away down that alley, and they were at a police station. So if they were right there, they saw him come in and out of the police station, right?
Yeah. I mean, they would have to. Unless
have even followed him to pick him up at a certain spot.
Yeah. Like, unless Briggs has organized this and said, hey, pick me up here, I don't think it didn't look like he was expecting them. I feel like they have to know now.
I think so, too. That's what I'm saying. And the fact that Toro's got in the backseat, you know what I'm saying? So he has all eyes on them. Like, he can't really do anything. Ari's going to be paying attention. Toro's in the backseat, like, to protect them. That's what I'm just saying. That the positioning there is for you to get killed.
Yep. That's why they did it. So we're going, next week, what's going to happen?
So what can Briggs say to talk himself out of this? What do you think?
Oh my gosh, who knows? No, man, give me. Do you think that? I don't know. He gets so like hard. Hopefully, he doesn't act like that again. He always does. I feel like too much towards the end. And for me, if I was Toros or Ari, I'd be like, why, dude? I don't know you. We're trying to do some really illegal stuff right now. You gotta go.
Really illegal.
Really illegal. Oh man, I don't know. I have no idea.
The other option, which we haven't really thought about yet, is that it wasn't Toros and it wasn't Ari who called the LAPD.
Oh, when you thought there was someone else undercover, or
so there's a few options. One could be that Mike did it. You don't know if Mike would do that. No, they always pull things out. You never know. You never know with the show. But if you think about it, it doesn't have to have been Ari or Toros who called the LAPD on them. They set them up with the pipes, but they don't know if you set them up with the LAPD because it doesn't make sense to have them be arrested with pipes because you
can't get it. I mean,
what are you going to do? Arrest the guy for having pipes? So I'm still thinking it's them, but I'm saying we got to keep our options open because Graceland.
Right.
You know it's Graceland. You know they're going to be like, oh, somebody else. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about with this was I think the play for Briggs in the car at that point would be for Briggs to go on the offensive and be like, you guys set me up. instead of before they even have a chance to say you were trying to set us up, him saying they set him up. And I feel like that's going to be his first play.
We'll see.
All right.
He's not in a position to even open his mouth the second he gets into the car.
So, yeah, he's not. All right, so let's rush through Charlie's storyline.
No, what's the third? No, not Charlie's. What's the second one? Johnny's. Not Johnny's, Mike's. Because this was a little shorter.
Okay, so Mike's storyline, we have Madison and Mike talking about how she used to model. What are you, Mike? I'm 18 inches carbon fiber and titanium attached by a suction cup.
Whatever. They try to show a moment where they connect so that he can stay a little bit longer and do some drugs together.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not okay because when he gets up from that entire scene, or actually, because I know you want to talk about how she's talking about everything that's in the journal and she's disregarding it. He's saying that it's something real. And then she really kind of puts I wish I knew better colloquialisms, but nits it in the butt for the tattoo, and she's like, he got that at Pomona as a dare.
Yeah.
So that just kind of makes the bird thing a whole coincidence and not worth anything.
I like this because someone's actually not catering to Mike's BS. Mm-hmm. They're like, look, you may think of it as one thing, but literally it's just your brain sending off neurons. Like, stop trying to find the meaning in it. It may have found you this case, but anyone looking at suspicious chat boards could have seen that and been like, oh, this is something. Mm-hmm. So Briggs has been calling Mike. She's telling Mike it never happened for a reason. He realizes he's been there 2 days. He's angry, leaves, and she's like, wait, give more pills.
Yeah.
She didn't really love him or anything. All right, so intervention.
Ugh, that was so nerve-wracking.
Deep down in my heart, I still love you.
No. Well, the second Mike sits down, I liked that Briggs paid attention to his hands, but didn't use it against him until he needed to at the right moment, which was at the end when he was trying to walk away.
Damn, so Mike walks in like a freaking lamp, throwing shade everywhere. He's like, all right, let's see, what does he say? Johnny calls him a junkie, which sets Mike off. Mike tries to throw Briggs on the bus. He says he doesn't need his help. Briggs says it's because he's got the shakes. Briggs says he knows it because I'm Briggs. I know about this. I was on heroin. Mike admits to taking the pills. Johnny's calling him out again. Mike is calling out Briggs, being a dick. Calls Jake a drunk. Mike's being a drunk.
No, so Mike, this is what Mike typically gets so defensive that what do? You start doing low blows to everybody, putting people's secrets out there. These are all things that you would never say. You would never say that.
He's got the dirt on everyone.
Yeah, I know, but you would never say that unless you were put in this position where you're the bad one now. So he just needs to remind everyone that of their parts in being a bad person. But I'm just saying, to talk about Charlie's baby, get the hell out of here.
He calls Jake a drunk and says he can't even see his own family. I can call my mother if I want to see her.
That was
He's
funny.
being a dick, and then Mike tells everyone Charlie aborted her baby. Mike says Paige can't talk because of why he's using in the first place, and Paige is like,
yeah.
And you're like, dang, like he's really. And
if I was there, I would have instigated. I would be like, woo! Got all of y'all.
I'm so glad he said that though, because we haven't seen any animosity from Mike towards Paige. No matter, like, he knows that she set him up. Like he knows that the reason he was freaking killed for 5 minutes was because she told Sid his location. Like, there's been no animosity from him. Finally, there's something. At least we know that he is angry about it in some respect, because it just doesn't make sense that he'd forgive her so easily. Charlie gives him an ultimatum. Look, you're going to go to this rehab place, and Mike's like, nope, peace, deuces, I'm out.
Until Charlie, Mama Bear comes and talks to him.
Charlie's asking him to talk to her, ask where he'll go. She says it's not him. He's like, it hurts. He actually finally opens up. He says it hurts so bad. He needed to get back to work. He spills it all. He says, sorry. Says she did what he did. She split the difference as she's telling him that she didn't get an abortion. She needed to get back to work. She needed to be the one to go on the case. So they have a moment, and she says, look, there's a place. It's rehab. It's all anonymous. And Mike says, look, I got to be ready to quit this stuff, and I'm ready. And that's when she says, thanks, Mike. And he says, so when you getting on your flight, so you can get away?
Don't miss your flight, right?
Yeah, and I'm just like, he's lying to her. He's not going to quit.
Of course.
But he proves me wrong that he wants to. Going to Vin's house, Vin's there, and Mike says they have to stop. No crashing, no smoking oxy. Madison doesn't think it's a problem. He asks if it's really what she wants, and he says cigarettes are more addictive than heroin. And she says, "This is the last one."
Our bon voyage.
Our bon voyage.
Yes.
Can we start stopping tomorrow?
I know. That sounds like everyone's diet plan. Let's start tomorrow.
It's everyone's addiction plan.
Yeah, that's true.
Or getting over addiction plan.
It reminds me of Breaking Bad. I mean, it's been 4 years. It's a bit of a spoiler. Have you guys seen Breaking Bad?
Yes, go.
The last night, him and his girlfriend are like, all right, tomorrow we're gonna leave, we're gonna quit, and that's the night that what happens, and you're like, yeah, it's always the last time. So I feel like Madison might be dead next episode. Because if Madison dies because that last pill sets something off, that's going to be the last pill.
Man, you see, that's what's so scary, because that's exactly what I thought. And they're like, oh, just one more time. You know how people it's
always that last one.
Yeah.
Because
There's a great movie called SLC Punk. If you haven't seen SLC Punk, it's a great movie. There's a really good scene. This guy won't do any drugs. He won't take Tylenol. He won't do anything. And in the movie, he makes a decision to take it, and something happens. It's really, check it out. I don't want to spoil it. It's a great movie. Really old. It's got great actors in it. Cool. Anyway, it's like a bon voyage. So that's kind of the end of Mike's storyline. He decides, all right, well, I'll take this pill. Which sucks, because in the previous scene, he's saying, like, every time, it's like, it's the last pill, and then it's never the last pill, and I want it to be the last pill. And it's like...
Well, I think it was physically the last pill, too. I think that's where the rationalization comes in. This is the last pill they had, because he didn't bring back anymore. So it was like, oh, we have to quit now.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
So I wanted,
especially when she's like, it's a farewell to the life that we're leaving, and he's like, exactly. And I think that in order to justify him taking that pill, he took it a little bit further and thought, this is the last time I take this pill. This is the last time I'm going to worry about pain or think about what's happened before or be this type of a person. So that would every reason more to take the pill. Oh, brother.
Somebody on Twitter corrected me. Mackenzie said he was dead for 6 minutes, Stephen. I'm sorry. I was a minute off, guys. I failed you guys. Graceland TV UK, shout out. As they say, nothing is as it seems. I want to rush. I had to rush that story because I really wanted to get to your story time.
I was trying to save the best one for last.
The best one for last. We have...
the swamp people.
Making pancakes. You open up with some nice maple syrup pancakes. Charlie's story. Talking to Amber. Amber wants to be a CI, and we get some inside information on Charlie we didn't know before. Charlie's dad was a wise guy.
Which doesn't surprise me at all. She seems like a wise guy.
Yeah. She's got the New York thing.
She does. She absolutely does. She says when she was 14, her dad got into beef, and they wanted to kill him, but he's not a rat. And he's not going to run, so she knows
they would have found him, and they would have
found him, killed him. So she makes an anonymous call and sets up her own dad for 14 years in prison, 14 to 20, for having $200K in laundered money in their house. Sets up her own dad, and she says she sends him an origami frog every week, saying it symbolizes safe travels. This is actually really interesting, kind of foreshadowing in a way, when she's going into these swamplands, like the frogs and things like that, and safe travels, and she does not have safe travels.
Right.
Kind of has really unsafe travels.
Well, it just makes me so sad, because when this guy right here says, "Oh, well, we have a little farewell party," I was like, "No, you idiot! Don't have a farewell party." Obviously, something bad was going to happen.
But my intention was good.
Your intention was good, which actually I was surprised, because I thought that your character was going to do something gnarly, and then instead it was just Rodney being jealous for Amber.
He's the smart one.
Cash Wingate.
Cash. What were you really thinking?
I just wanted to have a nice party. We were making some good money.
Moonshine.
We got some nice people. They're not tough to look at. So come on, let's have a party in the swamp.
There you go. So,
dude, I really want to have a party in the swamp, though.
We get a moment where Charlie tells Amber that she's got to send her back to jail, which is interesting, because before, when it was right out of jail, it was Charlie had so much animosity towards Amber. So much, because Amber had put her in that situation where she was getting antagonized and things like that. Amber hated Charlie hated Amber. Their relationship has kind of grown.
It did, because when she said, "I just need you to know it's not personal," I was like, why did you need to give her that? You know, I didn't realize that they were friends for her to let her know, like,
it's a good thing she did later in the episode.
No, seriously.
So, swamps, Charlie's story. Enter Tom. Came upon some ibogaine. It'll put some hair on your chest for sure. Apparently, it's worth the ride up for the hard land. And Amber says yes. Charlie says no. They're not going to start doing that. They're making money as is. Charlie is trying to take Amber off the case. She's like, look, Amber's got to go somewhere. I'm going to be handling it from here. Rodney does not like that. This is where we kind of see the dissension in there, and that's when we get the going away party. Like, let's throw a going away party, because like it's always a great idea to fly all the way back to Florida just for a going away party with criminals.
Keep up the cover. Keep up the cover. You know?
So
you have to.
I liked that we got a campfire, because it's always Graceland's campfire at the end of the episode where they're kind of coming together as a team, and it's always like really warm and things like that.
And stuff like that.
But this, we see them drinking moonshine at a campfire. he's having another virgin beer, but he looks at the can, taps the can.
Yeah, you see him, and he's like making sure it's the one that he put the stuff in.
Yeah, and if you guys know anything about drugs and things like that, and mind-altering drugs, like if you do like LSD, for instance, it's just a drop. It's literally just a drop, and that can be so concentrated that it sends you on a journey for 10, 15, 30 hours. So you can imagine that depending on how much he had put in that can, it could have literally just been at least 2 drops of something, and it would just...
Sure.
It could completely affect her physically, biologically, mentally.
Quick.
Yeah. I don't think it would have... I don't know what they're kind of basing Ibogaine off of. I mean, I can kind of...
It was kind of like...
It actually is. It is a drug. I looked it up. I'd have to
and it's called Ibogaine and everything.
Ibogaine, yeah.
Ibogaine is a naturally occurring psychoactive substance found in plants in the Apocynaceae family, such as the Tabernaceae iboga, whatever.
Tabernaceae iboga.
I know, right? Totally all about that Tabernaceae iboga. So yeah, they could have dosed her up pretty hardcore.
Sure.
He's like, "Oh, I'll lie you down inside." At this point, I'm thinking like, is this like a rape situation? Like, is he just trying to get with Charlie? And then when he puts her down and he goes and gets his gun, you're like, oh. Oh,
that was weird. That's so weird that he was just gonna shoot her, and then I guess it's one of those things.
And then what happens? Yeah,
because he would have shot her, and then you guys would have came in and be like, "Oh, come on, man, why'd you shoot her? Now we gotta clean up this mess."
I mean, once it's done though. Like they're gonna have to clean it up, and then they're on his team anyway.
Oh wait, and I want to make a point about your uniform because Tiana and I were cracking up about how he keeps wearing his uniform and everything. But I was happy about this scene because you were not tucked, your shirt wasn't tucked in, and it was unbuttoned, so it was very relaxed and ready for the party. It was the end of your shift, if you will.
It was the casual campfire look for the sheriff in the swamp. So
no, it was perfect. It was just very appropriate. I'm happy that they focused on that detail.
So Cash Wingate actually is a sheriff, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so he actually is. It's not just a cover. It's not just a car he has. He's the sheriff, and that he moonlights as a asshole.
Yes.
As a second income. Oh.
He takes care of his family. Is the way I look at it.
That's politically correct. It's a second income.
Exactly right.
So Amber goes in, luckily, to see what's going on. Cash goes in too because Amber calls for everyone, and Rodney's just like, "What are you guys doing? Let's just let it happen." And we get Devil Cash Wingate.
Oh, was that you?
Actually, no, it wasn't.
What?
Because they had to slide a guy in, so he had to get made up. So he was in the chair for like 5 hours getting that stuff on.
So. But then it was all nice one take, like you and then.
We did the scene, and then he would jump in on the coverage for him, but he had to be ready to go. So they got somebody my height with the same coloring and.
Did you ADR that?
They took my lines out of the actual dialogue that I had when it was on. I did the whole thing to Charlie, and then they shot my coverage, and then they just ripped the lines out and put them over him.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess when you're having everything be real weird, you can do it pretty easily.
Yeah, exactly.
So they want to kill her. They're just going to take her out into the swamp and dump her in the swamp. So they're on the windboat at night. They just literally throw her in.
Dude, they didn't skip a freaking single beat.
No.
This guy was the driver, like, all right, here's a spot, let her out.
Ghost ride the whip, dump her in. Ghost ride the whip, dump her in.
No, but I'm just saying, it just goes to show you like how scary that type of a place is because it was just so second nature.
It's just so easy for these people because they justify it with a big pile of money. I thought she was going to burn the house down with the money, and that would cause
that was an interesting take on it. That Amber would, just get the hell out. Which
leads me to believe that Amber took some of the money, and they're going to want to come after her for that.
Yeah, I don't know from that, in all honesty. So I
couldn't tell us.
I couldn't tell you actually.
All right, so Charlie's falling down in the depths, and she sees like a teenage boy, and I'm like, oh my god, it's her son. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is sad. Her son loses by the fingertips, and he falls down in the darkness, and you're like, oh, she lost the baby. Mm-hmm. Babies don't just survive Ibogaine.
I wouldn't think so. And the dump in the water and almost drowning, that's a lot of stress for a kid, I would think.
That's a lot of stress for an unborn baby.
Yeah.
Amber gets the water out of her, and Charlie is just like... next scene, she's in the bathroom crying, and she's like, it's done. She's like, I know, because when you have a life growing inside you, you know when that life is no longer there. Mm-hmm.
That was nuts.
That was nice.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of women or people that you talk to that it is a really bad experience, even for those who go through their abortions, that it's very difficult. And I know that there's following questions that nurses have to ask, are you okay? How is your health? This and that, just because it'll mess with someone. But for her to try to hide it for one, and then hide it only to keep it alive so that she could actually have it, and then because everyone kind of stopped focusing on her, I feel like she grew a deeper love for the baby, and she just needed this one last case, and she was going to be good.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even going to go back, so that's what's haunting her right now.
Well, that's why the scene between her and Mike was so important this episode, because he talks about how he just needs that one last thing. They're just splitting the difference.
Right.
And then he's just splitting the difference at the end. He's having that one last pill. She just needed this one last case. And this is real huge foreshadowing that it's going to end really terribly for Mike.
Oh.
Because
You're right.
if they're doing the same things, they're going back for that one last thing, and it killed what was inside of Charlie. It killed her baby. It's going to take something away from Mike equally as powerful.
No, I think, I'm hoping that it'll just be the focus on him, recovering, like what we saw in the previews. I hope that's just really bad. I hope he doesn't die from it.
I mean, I don't think he's going to die, but I can see somebody in Graceland dying. And it being because of Mike. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. They haven't killed off a main character in 3 seasons. I mean, you never know.
Think they're due? They're Game of Thrones due?
I was just going to say, Tom has been saying that the entire time.
Game of Thrones,
Game
Game of Thrones, everybody would be dead by now.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Season 3, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's just like, I just needed more time. And this is when her and Amber are really close. Amber's hugging her, kissing her, not on the lips, of course, but, just comforting her, because it's just, holy crap.
Yeah.
This is a cop. This is a woman who was on the top, and Amber was in the crime.
She was being so apathetic about it, and it was weird.
Amber's always been apathetic, though. Once she found out she had a baby, she's like, don't hit her in the stomach. She's always been kind of a little bit there.
For her.
But
she was crying, though, for her right there.
That was a great scene, by the way. Just going through the actors.
Yeah.
They did a really nice job with that, both those ladies.
It was very emotional.
Yeah.
And she says, I saw him in the water. And that's the scene.
I have to say, though, I do like that both you and then the other guy with the long hair, not Rodney, but the other guy, they're like, oh, man, the second she's like, she's pregnant. And both of you guys were like, everyone was almost sad about it.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we tried to bring to it was that we had kind of accepted these people. We were part of our team. That's why I think the party wasn't as hokey as it could have been. I thought there was a reason behind it. So, yeah,
because it wasn't like it was like a bummer. But then now they knew what they had to do about it. So I don't know. That just sucks. And which surprised me is that they were going to dump her, because they said, well, we can't send her back with the baby aborted. So I thought they were just going to make sure that she went to the hospital and was okay. But no, because then she would run her mouth and say, no, they killed my baby.
Yeah. If that got back, then they would be up the creek.
It's just,
it would be tough.
When you're in that position, you cannot involve any hospitals. You can't involve law enforcement. You can't really reach out for anything. You can't, because anything that can lead you back to it, you have $100 million at stake, and you have a whole organization. You can't.
Nope.
It's just one life. I mean, whatever. Right? What's one life to $100 million in the entire organization? And all the people you know. What's one person who you barely even know? Who, according to you, is just some lackey for Jake's, who is the boss. So they could play that off. They're still going to work through Amber and Jake's. Like, look, Charlie she had a bad reaction. It happened. Amber, go with it. Everything business as usual.
Could be.
We didn't do it earlier, but I do want to give a shout out to our iTunes followers and everyone. Go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, give us a comment. I'm going to have Tom read the top review here.
Oh, jeez. Are you? Because you're going to have to give me my glasses. See, now you're killing me now.
Oh, man. Cash Wingate's coming out.
Cash Wingate.
That is tough.
So just
what am I reading?
That one right there.
All right, guys, so I've been trying to post a review on here since a few episodes ago, since Steven keeps begging. But I have used my iTunes account. I haven't used my iTunes account in forever, so I couldn't remember my password or whatever, so I kind of gave up and forgot to post a review. And then Eric Valdez read the iTunes review, and now...
not posting one.
And now I regret not posting one. I'm a little upset, but it's okay. Anyway, I love the show. You guys are great every week. You are so funny and always on point. Stephanie, girl, you're amazing. I love you. Keep it up. up, guys?
And
also, bring Eric and James back. Waha.
Who was the name? Is it Clara Chair or something?
Clara Shaheen?
Yeah,
Clara
Clara
Shaheen?
Shaheen.
All right,
Shout
Clara
out to you,
Shaheen.
Clara. Love you too, girl.
You know, I
Nice
didn't get
job.
Eric to read it, but I think Tom Schanley is a
Yeah.
probably a
You
better
know what
bet.
I mean? He's great. He's Cash Wingate.
There you go. Cash Wingate.
Cash Wingate, for God's sakes,
Freaking
people.
Cash
does not
Wingate.
wear glasses.
You should just sign everything Cash Wingate from now on.
From now on, exactly. I
Wait,
will.
can I ask where you're from, Tom?
Originally, I'm from the Boston area.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I really was hoping that you were going to say from the South, just so that that's where you pulled that accent from. I don't know
Nope,
why I love it,
nope.
and it just looks good on you.
I played a lot of Southerners for whatever reason.
Yeah, you look like a good Southern.
You catch me
fella.
slipping up, I start talking like this. I
Yep.
can start talking like this at any time. So.
So tell us, like, what are you working on right now? What are your projects you got going on?
Actually, I have a Western I shot a little over a year ago that's supposed to be coming out in 2016. So
perfect.
I play a good guy in that one.
Oh.
Yes.
And other than that, actually, I'm getting married, actually, at the...
Ooh.
So things are kind of quieted down because we're going to head back east coming up in about a month. So
How long are you going for?
I'll be gone for about a month. We're going there and then go to Europe. And
Okay, so you're coming back. You're coming back.
Oh,
You're
I'm coming back.
Okay.
I'll be back.
So what's the Western called?
Yeah.
Where can we look for it?
It's called Hot Bath and a Stiff Drink, Part 2. There's a Part 1. They're going to release them simultaneously. And so I'm not exactly sure.
Bath and a stiff drink.
A hot bath and a stiff drink, yeah.
Do you have a Southern accent in this?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be watching it.
So, yeah. So
Hot bath and stiff drink.
Yeah, so I play a hero in this one, I like to think. So
Good.
No swamps. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun to shoot, and I think it's going to be a good film. So look for it in 16.
All
Nice.
right, cool. And did you have any shout outs for anyone that you worked with on Graceland? Any kind of fun things that happened while you're on set?
I just had a blast with the guys in the swamp. You know, it was great to shoot a location like that. You know, we're out there on fan boats and just doing it in the location. Gators were everywhere.
Really?
They had this one that was actually this family that owned this fishing camp. Real quickly, they had a couple of gators that were essentially, they're wild animals, so they're never trained.
But they're pets?
Not pets, but they claimed that once they're fed, their kids have swum in the same, not pet them or anything, but while they're around. This is what they claimed. No one went in that water, I guarantee you that. But,
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting to see, I gotta say.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, trained gators.
All
Train
right.
gators.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you guys, I really appreciate it.
We're going
It
to
was a lot of fun.
forego predictions today because we don't really have the time. But
And my prediction is that it's going to be nuts next week.
oh my
That's
God,
it.
It's going to be crazy.
Mike's going to go through hell. I think they're tricking us though. I think we're going to focus on more than just Mike next week.
Right, of course.
It looks like it's just Mike, but I feel like stuff's going down with Briggs that they can't show us because it would give away what's actually happening. So I'm excited.
I think it should be fun.
I
Thanks,
think
guys.
everyone should come back next week for the Graceland After Show. Where can we find you in the meanwhile, Stephanie Giorgi?
You can all find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi and on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi. Tom?
The Tom Schanley on Twitter, Tom Schanley on Instagram.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, as well as doing the Strain After Show here at AfterBuzz TV, as well as Killjoys. Tune in next week for Season 3, Episode 8, Savior Complex of the Graceland TV After Show.
Are you going to see you
And,
next episode?
Oh, yeah, you'll see me.
All right.
Oh, man,
Ain't
so
going
look
nowhere.
out for Tom, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
See you guys, thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bon voyage!
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.